Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing, and national and international fraternity. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating International Migrants Day on 18 December, celebrating the contributions and opportunities of migration. International Migration or International Migrants Day gives us a special opportunity to shine a spotlight on the invaluable contributions of millions of migrants around the world. It's also a day for us to highlight the increasingly complex environment in which migration occurs. Conflicts, climate-related disasters, and economic pressures continue to drive millions of people from their homes in search of safety and simply opportunity. This past year, we saw record levels of internal displacement, rising humanitarian needs across ongoing and new crises, and tragically, the highest ever death toll of the migrants in transit. Yet, alongside these challenges are stories of resilience, progress, and hope, where safe and well managed migration holds extraordinary potential. Migrants play a crucial role in labor markets, filling skills gaps, driving innovation and entrepreneurship, and addressing demographic challenges in aging societies. Migrants boost economic growth and provide a lifeline to families and communities back home, driving development. So the evidence is overwhelming that when migration is managed safely and strategically, it can be a powerful source for good. By supporting regular pathways for migration, we can enable opportunities for migrants, better protect their rights, and contribute to greater prosperity in the countries migrants come from and those that host them. Together, one step at a time, we can continue building a world where migration is safe, orderly, and beneficial for everyone. This year, the theme for 2024 is towards safer migration, and 2024 GCM implementation report, Global Migration. Since 2014, nearly 70,000 migrants have died or gone missing along land and sea routes, with the true number likely much higher. Each recorded death represents a person whose loss deeply affects their family and reverberates throughout communities and societies. This is a silent humanitarian crisis, and it's one we can solve. As called for the General Assembly, the Secretary General's third report on GCM implementation introduces key recommendations on providing humanitarian assistance to migrants in distress and strengthening cooperation on missing migrants, including concrete proposals to prevent migrants from dying or going missing, enhance search and identification efforts, support affected families, provide justice accordingly, and accountability and redress, collect data on migrant deaths and disappearances, and share migration forecasting data to optimize humanitarian assistance. These recommendations are only effected through collective action. Time is running out, and the lives must be served now. So the UN Migratory on 5th December, the United Nations Secretary launched the 2024 report on implementation of the Global Compact for Migration. The report outlines progress, challenges, and recommendations to advance GCM commitments and improve migration governance. The key measures include GCM indicators, a voluntary framework and align policies with the 2030 agenda, and improve migration data, saving lives, concrete proposals to strengthen cooperation on missing migrants and provide humanitarian assistance to migrants in distress. Global Compact for Migration. No state can manage migration effectively and sustainably in isolation. The Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration is an effective tool for states to discuss how best to address challenges to human mobility without compromising the human rights of the people, that state sovereignty. The UN Migration Agency, IOM, defines a migrant as any person who is moving or has moved across an international border or within a state away from her habitual place of residence, regardless of the person's legal status, whether the movement is voluntary or involuntary, what the causes for movement are, what is the length of the stay is. Migration and development. The lure of well-paid job in a wealthy country is powerful driver for international or of international migration. The attraction has intensified as income differentials among countries and the less dynamic developing countries continue to grow. This holds true not only regarding the large and growing differentials between high and low income countries, but also with the regarding to more dynamic and less dynamic developing countries. Many advanced and dynamic economies need migrant workers to fill jobs that cannot be outsourced and that do not find local workers willing to take up them at going wages. So, population aging also underlies this growing demand as it gives rise to deficits of workers relative to dependents. As the younger generations become better educated, fewer in their ranks are content with low paid and physically demanding jobs. Migrating may reduce wages or lead to higher unemployment among low skilled workers in advanced economies, many of whom are themselves migrants who arrived in earlier waves. However, most migrants complement the skills of domestic workers instead of competing with them by performing tasks that either would do, go under or cost more. Migrants allow citizens to perform other more productive and better paid jobs. They also maintain visible economic activities that, in their absence, would be outsourced. By enlarging the labor force and the pool of consumers, and by contributing their entrepreneurial capacities, migrants boost economic growth in receiving countries. So, at the point of origin, deeper poverty does not lead automatically to higher migration. The poorest people generally do not have the resources to bear the costs and risks of international migration. International migrants are usually drawn from middle income households. However, when migrants establish themselves abroad, they help friends and relatives to follow, and in the process, the costs and the risks of migration fall, making it impossible for poorer people, though not for the poorest, to join the stream. Low skilled migration has the largest potential to reduce the depth and severity of poverty in communities of origin. Mounting evidence indicates that international migration is usually positive, both for the countries of origin and of destination. Its potential benefits are larger than the potential gains from the freer international trade, particularly for developing countries. So, a day without migrants, imagine how would a day without migrants look like? Contrary to what some say believe, migrants play a vital role in the global economy. But of course, there are also, if they are not managed well, they can also cause serious issues. On 4th December 2000, the General Assembly, taking into account into the large and increasing number of migrants in the world, proclaimed 18 December International Migrants Day, via Resolution 55 by 93. On that day, in 1990, the Assembly adopted the International Convention on the Protection of Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of their Families, via Resolution 45 by 158. The 132 member states that participated in the high-level dialogue on international migration and development conducted by the General Assembly on 14th and 15th September 2006 reaffirmed a number of key messages. Further, they underscored that international migration was a growing phenomenon and it could make a positive contribution to development in countries of origin and countries of destination, provided it was supported by the right policies. Secondly, they emphasized that respect for the fundamental rights and freedoms of all migrants was essential to reap the benefits of international migration. Thirdly, they recognized the importance of strengthening international cooperation on international migration bilaterally, regionally, and globally. Following the high level dialogue, the government of Belgium launched a process to establish the Global Forum on Migration and Development. As a voluntary and binding informal consultative process, led by and open to all state members of the United Nations and observers. By providing a venue for governments to address issues related to international migration and development in a systematic and comprehensive way, the Global Forum brings together government expertise from all regions, promote dialogue, cooperation, and partnerships, and foster practical and action oriented outcomes at the national, regional, and global levels. So, following the high level dialogue, the government of Belgium launched a process to establish the Global Forum for Migration and Development as a voluntary non binding and informational consultative process. In September 2016, the UN General Assembly hosted a high level summit to address large movements of refugees and migrants with the aim of bringing countries together behind a more humane and coordinated approach. It was the first time the General Assembly has called for a summit at the head state and government level on large movements of refugees and migrants, and was a historic opportunity to come up with a blueprint for a better international response. The summit was a watershed movement to strengthen overcome governance of international migration and a unique opportunity for creating a more responsible, predictable system for responding to large movements of refugees and migrants. Today is also commemorated as World Arabic Language Day on 18 December with the theme for 2024 Arabic language and AI advancing innovation while preserving cultural heritage. Arabic spoken by over 450 million people and holding official status in nearly 25 countries is a global challenge with immense cultural significance. Yet, only 3% of the online content is available in Arabic, restricting access for millions. This event gathers top scholars, industry experts, and cultural leaders to explore how AI can bridge this digital gap, enhancing Arabic representation online and fostering both innovation and heritage preservation. This year, the event starts with opening remarks from distinguished speakers, leading into sessions on Arabic, AI innovation, cultural and linguistic preservation, and digital empowerment. The day concludes with a captivating light calligraphy show. So, the Arabic language is a pillar of the cultural diversity of humanity. It is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world, used daily by more than 400 million people. World Arabic Language Day is celebrated every year on 18 December since 2012. The data coincides with the day in 1973 that the General Assembly of the United Nations adopted Arabic as the sixth official language of the organization. In the diversity of its forms, classic or dialectal, from oral expression to poetic calligraphy, the Arabic language has given rise to a fascinating aesthetic in the fields as varied as architecture, poetry, philosophy, and song. It gives access to an incredible variety of identities and beliefs, and it reveals the richness of its links with other languages. Arabic has played a catalytic role in knowledge promoting dissemination of Greek and Roman sciences and philosophies to Renaissance Europe. It has enabled a dialogue of cultures along the Silk Roads from the coast of India to the Horn of Africa. Arabic plays a major role in promoting social cohesion, knowledge production, and spreading the lives of peace and mutual understanding. Its contribution to humanity cannot be reduced to one people, as it's a civilization's legacy for the entire world. In support of and promotion of multilingualism and multiculturalism in the United Nations Department of Global Communications, formerly known as the Department of Public Information, adopted a decision on the eve of observance of International Mother Language Day to celebrate each of the six official languages of the United Nations. Accordingly, it was decided to celebrate the Arabic language on 18 December, as it is the day on which General Assembly Resolution 3190 of 18 December 1973 included Arabic among the official and working languages of the United Nations. Today is also commemorated as Guru Ghasidas Jayanti on December 18th every year in the state of Chhattisgarh. The holiday commemorates the birth of Guru Ghasidas, born on December 18, 1756. His birthplace is Girodpuri, Chhattisgarh, India. Ghasidas forged his desire to eliminate social inequality because he experienced the caste system very early in his life. Guru Ghasidas established the Satnami community in Chhattisgarh based on Satnam, which means truth and equality. The teachings are similar to Hinduism and Buddhism. Guru Ghasidas Jayanti was a leader of the Satnam sect within Hinduism who lived from 1756 until 1836. He established a Satnami community with Chhattisgarh and advocated equality under Satnami teaching instead of the caste system. His preaching was mainly to Indians belonging to the lower caste. Early in Guru Ghasidas' life, he experienced the oppression of the caste system. This motivated him to dedicate his life to fighting against the caste system. The teachings of Guru Ghasidas were similar to Hinduism and Buddhism, but there were significant differences that classify his movement as a new religion. His teachings emphasized equality, social justice, truth, and peace. He disagreed with the other aspects of Hinduism, such as Murti Puja custom, in which physical objects were viewed as embodiment of gods during Hindu puja rites. To find ways to challenge the social inequalities of the caste system and find solutions to other societal issues, Guru Ghasidas traveled widely throughout the Chhattisgarh. He created a new awakening in what the cruel and representation of Indian society. The legacy of Guru Ghasidas' work lives on through his millions of followers in Chhattisgarh. The Guru Ghasidas University and local Guru Ghasidas National Park are named after him to honor the leader. Today are also we are commemorating other days which are nationally celebrated. So let's quickly commemorate them and then close the session. Today is also commemorated as Answer the Telephone Like Buddy the Elf Day in US. So wearing something green, picking up the phone and celebrate Answer the Telephone Like Buddy the Elf Day. So you can watch some excellent Christmas movies like Willie Ferrell's Elf and Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? We are not exaggerating what we say that Elf is best Christmas movie on the 21st century. In fact, it was recognized as such by Fandango users in 2017. So today is also Bake Cookies Day in US. Just in time, Christmas cookies are more than just a bakery with generations bonding over it. Not just for the sake of Christmas, but cookies in their versatility, crispy or soft and chewy, traditional shapes or special cookie cutter designs. Sugar, spices, dried fruit, chocolate, and list of options goes on. So get baking and fill up your house with aroma forms of cookies baked to perfection. Today is also commemorated as Flake Appreciation Day in US, which is a special day that is celebrated on December 18th every year in in United States. This day is used to show appreciation for snowflakes, which are loved by many. Snowflakes are beautiful, unique, and naturally occurring. They come in complex shapes and sizes and are divided into 35 categories. As with human fingerprints, no two snowflakes are exactly alike. Snowflakes are created when water vapor in cloud freezes around dust particles due to humidity. Typical hexagonal snowflakes can sometimes take the form of flat, needle-shaped particles. So snowflakes can be classified into one of 35 different shape groups based on their size and shape. When water vapor in the clouds condenses into ice crystals, snowflakes spontaneously appear in nature. Snowflake shapes are impacted by elements like dust, temperature, humidity, and temperature. There are different numbers of water molecules in snowflakes, which cause them to form a crystal pattern because of the diffuse deflection. Snowflakes appear white even though they are made of clear ice. Snowflakes are usually studied by putting a chemical compound on a glass of plate, allowing a flake to land on the plate. The chemical compound covers the snowflake and hardens. The snowflake leaves its shape behind after it melts. The history of snowflakes was greatly influenced by Wilson Bentley, who was born in 1865 in Jericho, Vermont. His work is significant as he helped discover that no two flakes are exactly alike. He used a type of photography that uses microscopes called photomicrography to take pictures of 5,000 snowflakes. Bentley published articles and books about his findings and donated some of his photographs to the Smithsonian Institution. He was the world's leading snowflake expert and was referred to as the Snowflake Man until he died in 1931. Today is also commemorated as National Crime Junkie Day in US, celebrated on December 18th is a day for true crime enthusiasts to come together and embrace their fascination with the chilling and complex world of real life mysteries. Crime junkies immerse themselves in the details of notorious crimes and investigate motives, clues, and theories. The day highlights collective curiosity about criminal psychology, unsolved cases, and the pursuit of justice. True crime has always fascinated people because it offers a deep dive into the darker side of human nature and taps into our curiosity about what motivates criminals, concern about legal system, and uncovering shocking or mysterious events. It captures the complexity of criminal investigations, the psychological profiles of offenders, and the quest for justice. It's a captivating and thought provoking form of entertainment. Since the late 1980s, shows and documentaries centering around real life crimes have captivated audiences. The risk of true crime broadcast in the 2010s further fueled this fascination and offered listeners a more accessible way to explore the genre. In 2017, a podcast was created to fill a gap in the true crime genre, one focused on captivating storytelling and making a real impact with the mission to bring attention to underrepresented cases. The show quickly grew in popularity, and 2022 National Crime Junkie Day was established to celebrate the passion of true crime enthusiasts. Today is also commemorated as Qatar National Day on December 18th, also known as the Founders Day, is celebrated on December 18th each year, celebrates the rise of Sheikh Jasser as the father and founder of Qatar. It is a day for people of Qatar to celebrate the rebirth of their country. Qatar is a wealthy nation and is widely recognized as a place for commercial activities in the New World. Qatar National Day celebrates such history and those who have worked hard towards making it what it is now. The country has kept its traditions and history alive over time, thus it's worth celebrating. Today is also commemorated as Republic Day of Niger in Niger, celebrated every year on December 18. It is a national holiday observed in Niger to commemorate the creation of the republic alongside the establishment of the office of the presidency. Before this, Niger was under the French rule. Though December 18 is not the republic's official Independence Day, it marks the founding of its national institutions. Niger was colonized by France, which began its occupation in the 1890s. Though they gained independence in 1960, December 18, 1958 marks the significant day that Niger became a republic. Before this, Niger had become an autonomous self-governing nation on December 4, This happened as a result of the constitutional changes brought about by the establishment of the Fifth French Republic. It is also commemorated as wear a plunger on your head, which is celebrated in US. There is no good reason why you should wear a plunger on your head, but that is exactly how the day is celebrated. Go ahead, invite a bit of fun and silliness into your life. The plunger is a device that is mostly commonly used in the toilet. It has had the same some basic design for years, and no one is entirely sure how or when plungers were invented. But plungers serves the single purpose of cleaning human waste. Some believe that Jeffrey Gunderson invented plungers in 1932, but it's impossible that the device was invented earlier. It's possible sometime between 1850 to 1900. The earliest plungers were made of wood and synthetic rubber, and the suction cup was invented in 1850s in the West. They strap pipes in the toilet allow plungers to do their work effectively. Plungers serves multiple purposes. They can be classified as toilet and sink plungers, but it's not uncommon for people to use sink plungers for their toilets as well. Sink plungers have a flat suction cup and are red white. Toilet plungers have a protruding funnel from the center of the suction cup and are black. Other than freeing up clogged toilets, plungers have also been used by trumpeters and trombonists and sometimes even to perform CPR. So, with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. Before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow at the same time at 6 o'clock. Different commemorations. Take care. Good night.